Little Bird is a psychological thriller about a child who's kidnapped and who grows up isolated from society without language or human contact. When she eventually escapes, she is gradually rehabilitated. But when she moves to London and tries to start a new life for herself with a new identity, she finds that a dark secret from her past begins to catch up with her, and somebody from her past starts to stalk her. And running alongside the story of Elodie is the story of Frank, who in his own way has similar issues of identity and growing up to deal with. And the book's really about when the two meet and fall in love and the two very different worlds collide. I was intrigued by cases of so-called feral or socially isolated children who for one reason or another have grown up isolated from society, who've been kidnapped and been kept locked away, or have been rejected by their families and left to fend for themselves in the forest or outback, or have been taken in by packs of wolves or wild dogs. And I was especially interested by society's reaction when these stories come to light. The reaction is sort of usually one of horror or morbid fascination or fear. And one of the main themes of Little Bird is about what makes us human. For example, our identity or our ability to fall in love, as well as language, but as well as darker impulses such as murder or hatred or revenge. And I also wondered, from reading about all these different cases, how such a child would ever be able to be rehabilitated and whether they'd ever be able to recover from their past, and that's what planted the seed for Little Bird. I guess to a certain extent maybe the boys in Little Bird are based on different people I've known growing up in South East London, but mainly they're just made up. And I find that one of the most enjoyable things about writing is making up characters. And you do get very attached to them, you're sort of holding them in your head for a year or two that it takes to write a novel. But then you close the book and move on to the next book and make up a whole new set of people. It's sort of like having imaginary friends or playing God. But as for the setting of Little Bird, the setting's always one of the most important things to me when I start writing, just as important as the characters or the plot. And I'm really influenced by writers like Graham Greene or Patrick Hamilton or Cosmo Cullis or Steinbeck, who often have the setting as almost as another character in the book. And the setting's all sort of integral or woven into the plight of their characters, and I really wanted to do that with Little Bird. I don't think I'll ever get bored of writing about London. And for Little Bird I wanted to write about the city from two different viewpoints. So first of all we have Frank's viewpoint, somebody who's lived and grown up in his own little part of London and knows it like the back of his hand. And then Elodie, who is like an immigrant who sort of sees it as this vast place full of sort of change and flux. I think writers always find their second novel very difficult. It's like the first one sort of flows out with you and you're almost writing it instinctively. But yeah, I think I've learnt a lot from writing Little Bird, and I'm looking forward to writing the next one.